Welcome.
I'm Cavan Scott, one of the story architects of Star Wars: The High Republic.
This is Dominic Pace, who plays Gekko the Bounty Hunter from The Mandalorian.
Hi, I'm Claudia Gray. I write Star Wars books.
And you're listening.
And you are listening
to Star Wars Comics in Canon. The Force is strong with this one.
Hello there and welcome to Star Wars Comics in Canon, your guide to the wider Star Wars canon through the comic book lens. And to take you on this journey, I'm your host, Mike Burton. And so we are here for a discussion about Kenobi, or Obi-Wan Kenobi, as the TV series is called, the 6-part TV series, but 2 parts dropped on the same day, so it's kind of more like 5 parts.
Which makes so much sense.
It's they're like, oh, we're sorry for delaying it for 2 days, and then there's like, I here have 2. So I'm glad for a variety of reasons, which we'll get into. So spoilers will be ahead, but this is going out to all of my audience on Genuine Chit-Chat and also Star Wars Comics in Canon, or the Comics in Motion family. And in this episode, I'm joined by Megan, as you just heard, and then the future episodes will just be on the feed of Comics in Motion or on the Genuine Chit-Chat YouTube channel over the coming 4 weeks. And I'll have an array of different guests, but for this special occasion, it's just me and Megan.
What a special little treat for you. Everyone gets tired, Megan. What a nice little treat for everyone out there.
End of the week, Megan.
End of half-term, Megan.
Yeah. So you're you're now on a holiday, so you need to be extra peppy.
So peppy.
Yeah, we're also in the middle of sorting out a house as well, or sorting out a house. We've got a house and we're doing it up and stripping off wallpaper and painting and all kinds of other things. So busy and also tired as well, because that's where all our energy's going, apart from here. So yeah, obviously Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's one of my favourite characters ever. If people haven't listened on Genuine Chit-Chat the last 2 weeks, I've put out like a prequel sort of thing to this, where me and Ben of Star Wars Timeline spoke about how we feel about Kenobi, what we like about the character, that sort of thing. And so check that out, obviously. And so this series is set 10 years after episode 3. It's about 9 years before A New Hope, 9 years before the Battle of Yavin, as the timeline is called. And so Obi-Wan was about 48 years old. And so, Megan, Kenobi as a character. Everyone knows my opinion of it, because they obviously tuned into the previous episodes. I love him. But what do you think of Kenobi?
I like him.
I like him.
Yeah, I like Kenobi. He's probably one of my favourite characters as well.
Do you prefer, is like Alec Guinness's Kenobi your favourite? Is Ewan McGregor's?
Ewan McGregor.
What about Clone Wars or McGregor? I know it's slightly different, but
it is different. I mean, the problem is that you've got episode 2 in there, aren't you? So like his acting's not great in episode 2. Well, it's not his acting, it's the dialogue. But in the Clone Wars series, it develops the character so much more. So I don't really know. But I do like Obi-Wan. He is one of my faves. Yeah,
and I just read or listened to the audiobook of Brotherhood by Mike Chen, so I'll be releasing a review of that on the Patreon. And so, this series, were you very excited about this series coming out? Have you watched the trailer? Did it change your mind at all?
Not really. Like, and this doesn't take it. It's going to sound really mean.
Oh, here we go. Throw it. I didn't expect this.
But because you've been so excited about it, like it's been, and this is no rudeness intended, it's been a bit annoying. Like Mike's been like a child waiting for Christmas for this show to come out. So it literally every moment he's like, can we watch the trailer? I mean, I'm like,
we've watched it 3 times.
The past like couple of weeks, Mike's been asking specifically to watch the trailer, and it's like, okay, why? And yeah, and then there's like other things that you wanted to watch as well, like 10 things that you need to know about something, which is from Star Wars Explained.
Yeah, Alex and Molly, yeah.
But yeah, like I feel like Mike's excitement for this covers anyone else's in the world need to be excited for this show. So I haven't been overly excited, but to be honest, as you said at the beginning, it's been a bit mental recently.
You haven't had time to think about anything. Like Stranger Things.
I haven't had time to think about the programs that I am obsessed with. Like there was a new series of a RuPaul series, which I didn't even know about because it's been so busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like...
Stranger Things literally came out as like today as well. It's like, well, I don't have time for that at the moment. We're dealing with house stuff. We've got a trip tomorrow. It's like...
Yeah, I was excited. I was looking forward to it, but I wasn't like running to watch it.
I mean, Kenobi, the way he is and the way you've known him has only really been a part of your life for a few years.
Yeah, I am intrigued to know what happens in that time period in between.
Yeah.
But, like...
It is a prequel.
There's a lot of content. There's always so much content that it's just a bit overwhelming.
We've got
So
Ms. Marvel coming out soon as well.
I'm in no rush to watch anything because there is so much content.
Yeah, we haven't really been watching much at all in a really had time. We still haven't finished Lego Skywalker Saga. Like, there's loads of things that we're just... Yeah, people, certain people in Comics Emotion even know about this because they're going through basically the same thing, which is purchasing a house and then having to do it all up and strip off wallpaper and all that stuff is very tiring and quite stressful, and moving in dates, closing in, etc. But
anyway,
Kenobi for me has been the escape. It's been the thing I've been looking forward to. It's like in all the stress and stuff. It's like, yeah, but on this Friday I get to watch like 2 hours of Kenobi, which is... I don't know I should have looked up what the screen time is of Kenobi over the prequels, but it's probably all in all over 3 films that are about 2 to 2.5 hours long. It's probably on screen him about 2 hours, I imagine, about a third of the time.
Maybe.
Because the first one he's not really in it that much, but then the second one he's in quite a lot, and then the third one obviously he's in a lot. So I imagine he's got 2 to 3 hours screen time. So we've almost seen as much Kenobi in these 2 episodes as we have in the 3 movies.
Correct.
And for me, when I grew up with Kenobi, because I grew up with the prequels, so he was always my favourite character. So for me, it was just like when Revenge of the Sith finished, it was like, oh, no more Kenobi. And obviously we've got Clone Wars, but I didn't watch that till later. Yeah. So I was definitely more excited, definitely. But I want to clarify, I did not make Megan watch the trailer every day or anything silly like that.
It was once an hour.
That was not true.
Once an hour on the dot.
Oh my god, that would have ruined it for me. No, we watched it 3-4 times over the last few months. I mean, there's 2 trailers, so all in all...
I don't know, but you don't really need to watch a trailer more than once, do you, really?
You do when you're really excited. Not if you're Tonya. Tonya doesn't. But anyway, so we are talking about Kenobi, obviously. Let's talk about the first episode. So it starts off with a recap, which I was not expecting.
I liked the recap. Sense. I thought it was nice.
Yeah, I mean, we did a little recap because we watched Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith semi-recently.
Yeah.
Or Revenge of the Sith this week. But yeah, I liked the recap. I thought it was intriguing. And obviously we're going to kind of dot around here, but obviously finding how much they put about Qui-Gon in there, and then because Obi-Wan mentioned Qui-Gon, it's kind of like a thing where I just want to put the prediction out there. I think Qui-Gon's going to come into it right at the very end. I think it's going to be like the last episode. We're going to get him talking about Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon?
So then there was the Order 66 montage, and
yeah, they went straight in with Order 66. Like, even I even said out loud, I was like, "Oof, okay, going straight in there, straight to Order 66." All right.
Yeah, and the actress who played the Jedi Master, who was protecting the younglings, was someone called Ming Kui, and they're a stunt double, a coach, and a mentor of Ming Na Wen, who played Fennec Shand in Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. So it's cool that she's got her own character as well as being obviously an important part of the Star Wars universe. So I thought that's worth mentioning. But I really like how it's almost Star Wars are looking for an excuse to just anything we can do about Order 66, because it was such a horrendous tragedy across the galaxy. Obviously, it was like a genocide. It was a religious culling of these beings, of all different, obviously, races and etc. But there's so many stories you could do about it.
Yeah. Well, and again, we don't know any information about it.
About what?
Order 66, really. Like, we know why it happens. And we know how it happens. We don't really know much of the aftermath apart from, like, the Bad Batch.
Yeah, it's the Bad Batch and then Jedi Fallen Order, but Jedi Fallen Order only connects with, like... That gets another Order 66 part in it that's really good, and then you just see the aftermath of that one sort of character, and then a couple of other characters kind of come into it, but yeah, there's not... I was expecting them to do, like, a big comic series, or, like, some movies or series or something about, like, post-Order 66. Like, just like, I'd love to do one where it's like an anthology, whereas like, I wonder if Tales of the Jedi, which is coming out, might be that. But like each episode being a different Order 66 thing. Some survive, some not. I'm holding out for Quinlan Voss. That's what I want. That's who I want to come into it. But obviously then after the Order 66 montage, which is cool and brutal, and I think that, you know, I think it's quite heavily hinting that Reva, the Inquisitor, she was among those younglings.
Yeah, I think she's the one that spoke. She's the one that said, let's run away, because then the Grand Inquisitor said that they found her in the, like, dumpster.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. What, do you have any predictions about her and why she hates Kenobi so much?
I don't know, maybe because he didn't make Anakin stay on the light side, and that's why all of the younglings died.
That's a very good point.
Because I'm assuming she doesn't know that Anakin is Vader. Like... No one knows that, really, do they?
She says it in the...
Oh, yeah, of course she does. She says it in the second episode,
it's one of the last lines.
So, yeah, maybe that. Maybe because, Obi-Wan wasn't there to protect them. That she fell to the dark side, I guess.
Yeah, that's actually one of the reasons I wrote down. I was like, potentially... Yeah, she sees Anakin killing them and knows Obi-Wan was connected to him, so like blames him. That's one of the main things I wrote down. Or she potentially saw Obi-Wan in the temple later on and didn't get saved or something. Or he didn't. Or maybe she just...
No, because when they went to the temple, it was way after.
I suppose that was true.
Because it's Obi-Wan and Yoda that go to the temple together.
Yeah. It's probably... Yeah, because it was after everyone was gone. Yeah. Yeah, I think it is probably what you said and what I wrote down.
Well, we shall see, I suppose.
Her obsession.
Unless she's just so dedicated to Vader that she wants to get Obi-Wan for him. Because he said... She mentions that Vader's been looking for him for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, unless she's just so dedicated to Vader that...
That might be it.
That she wants to get Obi-Wan to get higher in the ranks, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, get on Vader's good side.
Yeah.
Try and become the Grand Inquisitor, I guess.
Maybe.
So it starts off on Tatooine and things, and there's, that bar visit, and the Inquisitors are there, and it kind of does that thing where, when it started, I was like, okay, this is not going to be, they're not going to be hunting Kenobi to begin with. Then they go in that bar, and there's that other guy who's a Jedi or a Force user. And I was like, yeah, they're not going to do that. But then it does that stuff of Kenobi where he's cutting the meat and all those sort of things, and you're watching him just kind of plod around. And it's fine, I really did enjoy it, but you can see why they released 2 episodes, I found. Yeah,
I feel like a lot of bits of him cutting chunks of meat and folding up the napkin and putting it into his shirt could have probably been cut out.
I suppose it's just kind of...
It's just showing his monotonous life.
Yeah.
It's just showing that he's got a mundane, boring, solitary life. That's the purpose of that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he has no friends. He doesn't talk to anyone. Even the people that he does talk to, they want him to piss off. Owen literally tells him to go away.
Yeah.
So, I think it's just showing that he's a completely different person to what he was pre-Order 66.
Yeah, and the trauma that he went through. Because that's something that's being explored in Star Wars a bit more. Like, Jedi Fallen Order explores that concept of trauma and, like, what it does to someone living through something like Order 66 and having to cut yourself off from the Force and all these other things. And this is what I was hoping for. This show it didn't go the way I did. Like, obviously, we've already said some minor spoilers, but we are clarifying here. We're talking about both episodes, part 1 and part 2, and spoilers we're going to kind of dot around.
And I'm sorry, because they are going to merge into one because we watched them back to back, so...
Yeah, exactly. So, with them, the big reason that Kenobi leaves Tatooine, which was kind of the question from everyone, when you watch the trailers, you see there's other places, and the insinuation is heavily, he's not just going to stay on Tatooine. So what's the reason for him leaving? And I had thought about it, of like, what reason could they give? I thought maybe kidnapped him. I thought maybe he saved someone from getting attacked by Inquisitors. They kidnapped him, and then he had to, like, escape Vader or something. That's kind of what I thought before I saw the trailer necessarily, after I saw the trailer, and actually before that, when I kind of knew the general idea. What do you think about how they got Kenobi off? Like, did you have any idea that was coming?
Oh, no, I had no clue. I thought it was smart. I find Leia annoying. But controversial opinion, find her a little bit jarring in the films as well.
No, you find Carrie Fisher jarring in...
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is controversial.
It is controversial. I don't know. I find her a bit jarring sometimes. And she's just a spoiled brat in this. She's a spoiled brat. She is very, very smart, and she's witty. Yeah. Which is good. Like, the portrayal of the character is good. I think it links to how Leia is as an adult. Yeah. She obviously matures a lot, but she's a spoiled little brat.
I wouldn't describe her as a spoiled brat.
When she's with Obi-Wan, she's literally like running away from him. She's not listening to any of his like.
Yeah, she's clever. She's like suspicious because she's like.
No, I get that, but like he's like, okay, you need to be careful. You need to do this. You need to do this, and then she like runs away, and because she didn't stay where he told her to, she then saw the thing on the watch saying that there was a bounty after him, and then jumped to conclusions, and then ran away.
Yeah.
If she had just stayed where he told her to stay, then they wouldn't be running away.
True, but she's a 10-year-old in a very stressful situation.
I know.
And you teach children, you know how erratic
I don't teach 10-year-olds.
11?
Yeah.
Wow. I really liked young Leia. When it came out, I was like, oh, we're going to get a little young Leia thing just as a moment to kind of do a parallel of like, oh, cool, let's see what she's doing compared to what Luke's doing, and then let's just kind of
we haven't seen Luke really. We've seen him from a distance.
We saw him the trailer is basically what you get
He was just like, well, we saw him sat on the like roof of the house pretending to be a pilot.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But that's fine. And you can kind of sort of run about a little bit.
And also, we've seen Luke in enough stuff. Like,
and we're probably going to see him in a lot more stuff as well.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be, all the other series he's going to pop up in, apart from Andor. He won't pop up in that. I hope that would be bad. But anyway, so I really like the Leia parts, and I'm really happy they got Jimmy Smits back to be Bail. I love Bail Organa. He's so cool. And I think he's going to be in the Cassian Andor show as well, because he's in Rogue One.
Yeah.
You like Bail?
Yeah, I like Bail Organa.
Why don't you marry him?
All right, I will. Happily. I can speak to him in Spanish.
Oh, yeah, because he's in, the actor is in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
And in The Heights.
Oh, of course he is. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. But no, Bail Organa is cool. I really like him.
Yeah, he's a great character. And I like seeing more of him. He's awesome. And I like being able to see Alderaan, because you don't really get to see it. You see it very briefly.
You get to see it when it blows up.
Well, you see it from a distance, and then after, poster Death Star. But you do get to see it like at the end of Revenge of the Sith for like a few seconds when you've got Breya and Bail holding the baby.
Oh, yeah.
And I quite like how Breya, she's the queen and Bail's the senator, so she's the one who's... It's mirroring Naboo, where it's a monarchy.
Yeah.
And so it's queens and things, and I don't know the politics enough to know if they were like elected and things, but it's not specifically relevant. But I liked Breya in this as well. I like seeing Leia's parents, and we haven't really seen much of Leia at this time. Like there's a Claudia Gray book called Leia, Princess of Alderaan that's really good. It's about when she's like 16ish, a few years before A New Hope. But yeah, so we move on from that, and obviously it goes back to Kenobi and things, and it kind of flits between the two of them. But then you get that conversation between Ben and Owen. And then you get the scene where the Inquisitors have got all the people out and threaten. There
isn't conversation between Bail Organa and Obi-Wan in the first episode, is there? This is what I mean, they've merged.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, I said Owen and Ben.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just clarifying for myself.
Yeah, not...
That all happens in the second episode, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's when... No.
This is what I mean, they've merged, I can't remember.
I think I think it's at the end of the first episode.
Right, okay. Anyway, yeah, so he meets up with...
Yeah, in the first episode, Bail and Breya ask him to help via the hologram.
Oh, yeah,
and then at the end, he goes back into his cave, and then he's there, and then that's more or less... He leaves on the transport, and that's where it ends.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so it isn't part one.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, well, it is hard. It is hard when you split them together and things. But... Yeah, it's quite sad, obviously, seeing Kenobi in that way, but that's kind of the prediction of what we kind of thought he was going to be like. But it is, obviously, Ewan McGregor's great at acting.
He's just been living in a cave.
Must suck. 10 years.
He's literally been living in a cave for 10 years. He has nothing.
Yeah, think about, like, our lives now, and think about where you were 10 years ago. Was that when you started uni?
10 years ago? What year are we? 2022. 10 years ago is the year that I started university.
So imagine...
So 10 years in September.
So imagine, obviously, we are younger than Obi-Wan is, as confirmed. He's 48 in this. So he was about 38 in... Revenge of the Sith, I think. And so, in that, 10 years of that, of just living in a cave is just... And doing that boring cutting job, I assume, and very little else, and just having to have... like, the most conversations he has with that Jawa, which I did enjoy. I did enjoy the Jawa conversation.
Yeah, that was nice. I did like that.
I like how the Star Wars showrunners are just like, let's put just Jawas in loads of things.
They love putting Jawas and stuff, and what they've also been doing recently is, like, turning the villains into, like, not villains.
Right.
Like, they did it with the Sand People.
Yeah.
Like, you always saw them as villainous, and then in Mandalorian, he kind of, like, shows that they're civil if you work with them, as opposed to against them. And then, obviously, you always see Jawas, like, stealing shit and, like, kidnapping droids and stuff. But then it's, like, still being naughty because, obviously, it's stolen stuff from Obi-Wan and it's trying to sell it back to him.
Yeah.
But, like, there seems to be some sort of, like, comical element to it. It seems that they're making those, like, kind of, like, background slight baddies into having a bit more character to them so that we understand them a bit better.
Yeah, you get some of the culture, which I quite like.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about Star Wars, is even when nothing in particular is necessarily going on, a lot of the time you're still getting lore from, in the cantina watching people eat or drink or things, or just gamble or just do stuff. Like just seeing people live in this galaxy and seeing all these different species.
Or when you have the species, this is like a typical Star Wars, like not trope, but that's the word I'll use. When you have a landscape and then you've got a rock and then the close-up is an animal doing something, and then in the background you see a speeder or a ship come into the foreground is a very classic Star Wars thing. I'm pretty sure I've seen it in every single film.
It's more or less.
And we saw it in episode 2, the little, like, I don't think it was a womp rat, but...
No, I almost wrote down the name of that thing, but I just thought if I'm writing down everything...
But yeah, that thing scuttles across and then you see the ship come into view.
Yeah, I can't remember if that might have been a womp rat, but I can't fully remember. But yeah, so... Really, the whole of the first episode is just kind of getting used to seeing what state Kenobi's in, and he has the nightmares and things. And I think they did the clever idea of putting the second part in because it really gets the plot moving. The first thing is where Kenobi is and why his current situation is changing. Why at this point is this going on? And I think it very nicely, with the recap as well, really allows any kind of fan to really understand what's going on. Like, they really help people, whereas... For other movies, like I know this is a slightly different thing, but in Crimes of Grindelwald, where they changed Grindelwald and basically they didn't say anything about it, and Dumbledore
Just
called him by his
changed the
first name when they sat down, and I was like, did he just call him by his first name? I was like, I don't know Grindelwald's first name that well.
It's Geralt.
It's Geralt. Geralt Grindelwald.
Now I'm doubting myself.
We interrupt this Kenobi discussion for a talk on Megan's favourite franchise, The Wizarding World, but Megan doesn't like Fantastic Beasts quite as much as Harry Potter.
Gellert, sorry, it's Gellert Grindelwald. I was like, as soon as I said Geralt, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's wrong because that's The Witcher.
Yeah.
Gellert Grindelwald.
Right. Yeah. But when they did that, it was like there was just no reference to it. Whereas I know they haven't changed the actor or anything, but it's kind of setting the scene because that's one of the main questions I get asked by people, either at work or elsewhere. And it's not anyone who does ask me this question who's listening. This is not a problem. I get asked this, but it's that people always go, when is this set? Like, even when Rogue One was coming out, they're like, when is this set in the timeline? Because I think where Star Wars on the visual dictionaries and things like that, they go in depth into when everything is. Outside of that, they don't really talk about it. Like, I don't even really think in the movies it tells you it's been 19 years between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope.
It doesn't.
I think it's just like all the content that's come out, biographical information about Luke and Leia, is that they were, I think George Lucas said in an interview, they were 19 years old at A New Hope. So him just saying that as him establishing that as the guy creator, or being like, they're 19 years old. That is the tie that holds them together of that kind of that time.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly where I was going with that.
I don't know
Just
either.
go off on one about that. But, it was because they did it well, establishing where it is halfway through.
Yeah, but they also did say 10 years later, didn't they, after Order 66?
Yeah, but if people don't know that Luke and Leia are 19 years old, then they show Leia at 10, and you're like, oh, I get it. Everything is really easily points to where things are on the timeline. So anyway, episode 2 kind of starts. You meet the character Haja Estri.
I feel like that actor just plays the same character.
He does play
because this character, that was his name, Haja.
It's Haja Estri.
Haja Estri is very much the same character as the one from Eternals.
Yes, it is. I'm trying to remember what the character in Eternals is called. I can remember almost none of their names in Eternals. Kumail Nanjiani is the name of the actor, and
this is something that Mike does, where he feels the need to look everything up, and it just takes so long, and it's wholly unnecessary.
It is, but I feel like if I don't say it and people are like, oh, what was that thing? And it's on like the tip of their tongue.
Do you know what that's called, Mike? That's called overthinking.
Well, no,
just get on with it.
No, I find when I listen to a podcast and people are talking about stuff, and then they can't think of what an actor's name is, and then they don't look it up. It's Kingo.
Okay, cool. I'm never going to remember that because I didn't like that film.
It wasn't for you. It was for the lovely listeners.
Okay, well, don't watch the film because it's not that good. That's Eternals,
I actually enjoyed Eternals.
Anyway.
I thought it was good.
Anyway.
But yeah, obviously he does those sort of tricks and things, the kind of fake Jedi tricks, and I liked those elements. I quite like people trying to use the kind of idea of a Jedi to their own gain. It seems like a real world thing.
It's not what the Jedi would do.
No, it isn't. But people by that point, 10 years later, wouldn't really know, especially if you grew up without them. And obviously, there are only like 10,000 Jedi at the time of the prequels across the whole galaxy. Along Coruscant, there's like 1 trillion people just there.
Yeah.
So most people don't get to interact with Jedi. But you get this cool back and forth with Leia and Kenobi, sort of when they're running through the streets and things. And obviously, Megan already pointed out that she runs away.
Yeah. I mean, you've jumped way ahead.
Well, I was going to Oh, okay. I suppose there's the bit where
Like, she hasn't even, oh my God, what is wrong with why can't I speak? She hasn't even been kidnapped yet.
Yeah, that is a good point. It's just because we flitted.
Suddenly, she's on this random planet.
Well, yeah, so she obviously gets kidnapped, and that's what happened at the end. We already spoke about Bail and Breya contacting Obi-Wan. So
yeah, but we didn't say that she actually got kidnapped.
Okay, well, she got kidnapped, even though you know because you've already either don't watch my spoilers, but yes, she got kidnapped, and then Kenobi gets her free by using that spice bomb. I quite like his disguise, his like spying around, like sneaking around stuff.
Yeah,
but for the first half, he's really careful and wears all the disguises, and then the second half, he just
this is the thing. This is what I said. He had his hood down, and he's got like a shit ton of people around looking for him. He's got a bounty on his head.
Yeah.
He just takes his hood down. I'm like, okay, you're getting Leia loads of new clothes. Get yourself some new clothes.
Well, wear something on your
face.
Get
a hat.
Wear something on your face like a
Wear one of
mask.
those scarves. Like, put your hood up. Do something. You're literally just walking around with your face out.
I know they couldn't do this, but it would make... Well, they could actually shave. They could, if he shaved, it would actually... If he shaved him, like, put something over his face. Like, he wouldn't have the classic Kenobi look, but it would actually make a lot of sense. But anyway, hashtag shave Kenobi. So we get a lot of... So in these episodes, what I really like is you get a lot of perspective from the baddies, in a sense. You know, the Inquisitors and Reva. And you get her clashing with the Grand Inquisitor and also with the Fifth Brother quite a lot.
Yeah.
And the Fifth Brother is in Star Wars Rebels. Do you know who I'm speaking about?
Yeah, the blue guy.
Yeah, he's like a greyish, chalky sort of...
Yeah, the blue guy.
Yeah, colour. He's in Rebels, and he's also in Charles Soule's 2017 Darth Vader comics that I tackled a while ago.
Yes, that's a particular favourite of mine, that one.
Megan has not read any Star Wars comics apart from like one issue of Obi-Wan Anakin while we were waiting for a back massage or something.
Yeah.
Because we had to go one at a time, and so I just took a comic. Anyway, yeah, so the 2017 Charles Soule comic, Vader comics, is some of the best Star Wars comics, so definitely read those. But yeah, so it's cool seeing these characters appear, and there's also the fourth sister who appears, who I'd not seen before, and she's only appeared in one other thing that I haven't read, and that is the Return to Vader's Castle comics by IDW Publishing.
Oh my god, are you even a Star Wars fan if you haven't read Return to Vader's Castle?
Well, yeah, because there's the Tales of Vader's Castle, which I've got and I tackled at Halloween on the podcast, and then there's Return to Vader's Castle, and there's also Ghosts of Vader's Castle, and they always come out at Halloween. So I am at some point soon probably going to tackle these. But
well, you've let us all down.
I have for not
reading that comic book.
Yeah,
so
it's terrible when I've got it as well.
I hope you feel the weight of that shame on your shoulders now.
It is making me want to cry. It is very devastating. But yeah, I liked all these, and the Grand Inquisitor. Like, obviously, we knew him from Star Wars Rebels. So what did you think about his live action portrayal?
I'm not going to lie, I had to look up the Grand Inquisitor to remind myself what he actually looked like. And then I was like, yeah, I can see why I probably don't recognise him. Like, the makeup is obviously the same. And I know that, because I've heard it, and when I saw the picture of the cartoon one, or animated one, it made me remember that I've heard this, is that his head's too small.
Yeah.
that's
not long enough,
everyone's
and also
complaint.
The lines aren't dark enough, I think, on his face. Because it wouldn't matter as much if the species, which are the Powans, weren't in episode 3. When he goes to Utapau, when he finds Grievous, that guy walks up to him, and he's got and he's like, there's battle droids upstairs.
Yeah.
That guy is the same species as the Grand Inquisitor. So it's like, we've already seen him in live action. But is it the actual
Grand Inquisitor? Because obviously at the end of that second episode, spoilers, which obviously at this point, whatever, he gets stabbed with a lightsaber. So I don't know if that's just the makeup of the Grand Inquisitor, or is that the actual species?
I mean, it's meant to be the Grand Inquisitor is that species, and I think it's meant to be the same character. It's going to probably be healed by Bacta or something,
right? I
imagine. Because even like when I watched Star Wars Celebration last night, and I watched a lot of these little 10-minute interviews of people, and one of them was with Rupert something, which is the guy who plays...
Rupert Grint, everyone.
Who plays the Grand Inquisitor, and then Moses Ingram, who plays Reva. And when they were talking about it, Rupert specifically mentioned that he watched Rebels, and they want to make... that's what they based the character on.
Yeah,
so,
I guess
so you know what he's in Rebels, which is after this. And if people who are listening have watched Obi-Wan Kenobi and you haven't watched Rebels, shame on you, because Rebels is absolutely incredible.
It is rather good.
Don't even need to necessarily watch Clone Wars beforehand. Just watch Rebels. It's great. But I like the Inquisitors, because you get them in Fallen Order as well, and you get them in Rebels, but they're not really elsewhere in the Star Wars canon that much, aside from the Darth Vader comics, which obviously makes
bloody everywhere in Rebels. Pop up left, right, and centre, don't they?
They're a very clever way to have it so that it's, like, nearing the time of A New Hope, it's not just constantly Vader pursuing them.
Yeah.
It's a really good way of doing it. And they were in, like, the original 1970s radio dramas, which were obviously in Legends. There was, like, a mention of the Inquisitors in it, somewhat.
Right.
But I think it might be in the Legend, something else in Legend as well. But anyway, I really like the Inquisitors. I thought the Grand Inquisitor, I thought he was alright. I could recognise him, and I was like, okay, I see where they're going for. And I think in the second episode, he looked more like he does in the comics. I think when they first introduced him, not as much, but I don't know. I think the actor's fine. I think the problem is that people are actually putting almost too much weight on what the Grand Inquisitor's going to do. I think the episode end was symbolic of being like, the Grand Inquisitor's not really going to be in it very much anymore. You know, and we're going to focus more on Reva, and then obviously as Vader comes into it, he's going to take the stand.
Yeah, maybe.
So I don't really want... Like, Grand Inquisitor was not a character I saw, and I was like, you know what I need? More Grand Inquisitor. Like, I saw him a bit in there's like a ghosty version of him in one of the Star Wars comics set around Empire Strikes Back. That's pretty cool. And he's in the Charles Saul Vader comics, and that's pretty cool. But I'm not clamouring for him. I'd much rather see what Reva's doing.
It is nice to see new characters.
Did you like Reva?
Well, no, she's not a nice person.
As a character?
I don't really know enough about her yet.
So you want to find out why she's so angry?
Yeah. And
that'll determine if you like her or not?
Yeah, because if it's a stupid reason, then I won't like her.
You won't like her as a character if it's a stupid reason?
Well, yeah.
What would you think is... is a non-stupid reason the one you gave earlier, which is she hates...
I think that's the most likely reason, but I do think that that's irrational. Like, how is Obi-Wan... Like, if this is the actual reason, obviously that's just guesswork. We don't know whether it's because she's mad at Obi-Wan for not protecting the Jedi Order, because the whole Jedi Order doesn't fall onto his shoulders. Like, arguably, if it was going to fall onto anyone's shoulders, it would be Yoda's.
I think it was more so because Anakin was his Padawan, so he didn't train him properly.
Yeah, I guess, but at the same time, Anakin, like... Well, anyway, that's a whole other debate.
That's a whole discussion.
But, like, if it is that reason, then I think that's a bit naff. Like, I'm kind of hoping it's something that's going to be a bit more of a twist.
Right.
Like, if I can figure out the reason, that's not a good enough reason. I'm not very good at deducing what is going to happen. I normally go for the most obvious option, which is generally incorrect. So
Depends on what we watch.
Huh?
Depends on what we watch. Some certain films like Pixar movies are normally
quite easy. Well, I mean, they're like originally made for children, aren't they? So like, but yeah, I'm hoping it's not going to be that. I'm hoping it is going to be something else, so that there is actually more of a valid reason as to why she's specifically gunning for him, or if like Vader's promised her something and that's the reason that she's doing it. I hope there's like an actual legitimate reason as to why she's like that, and that'll probably it'll add more to her character. But then I guess there's going to be some sort of arc with her.
Probably. I imagine so.
Oh, like Obi-Wan's going to make her find her path to the light side.
Maybe. I think it'll be more so probably like she'll have the choice between protecting Obi-Wan against Vader or not, and she'll attack Vader, and she'll kind of be doing it to prove her strength, but also kind of be doing it because we're realising that Vader and the Emperor and the Empire aren't actually what's best for the galaxy.
My only question is, right, like, Obi-Wan says the Inquisitors are all, like, well, not all of them, but most of them are Jedi that fell to the dark side after Order 66. How did they survive Order 66? Like, he said that they fell to the dark side after it happened, but surely at that point all of the clones would have gone for them anyway, because they would still have been Jedi.
The general idea is some of them just, like, Grand Inquisitor just turned straight away. He always felt, like, betrayed by the Jedi, and things like they would never let him read through the forbidden section in the archives, and he would resent Jocasta Nu for that and things. And so,
who's Jocasta Nu? The librarian?
Yeah, the one I didn't like from Attack of the Clones, but she gets a bit more character and other content that I like her more. But
well, if it's not in the archives, it doesn't exist.
It's like, well, you're wrong, and you're being rude to Obi-Wan. How dare you? But that's his kind of thing. And then there's also one called Proset Dibs. He's in like a Mace Windu comic, and it's basically he gets put in like Jedi prison. They don't execute him, they just kind of lock him away. And then when the Empire takes over, any other Jedi that were locked up for being bad, they let them out.
Right.
And there were certain Jedi that were easier to turn, but a lot of them just they kill loads of clones, and then Vader goes to capture them, and then Vader's like, "Oh, you're quite strong. I'll incapacitate you by cutting your arm off or something, and then bring you in, and then I'll torture you, and either you'll tell me what other Jedi are, you'll die, or you'll become an Inquisitor."
This is the way.
Kind of, yeah. That's what he did to a lot of them. But yeah, I really like the Inquisitor. I think they're interesting, and I'm very interested to see how, like, with Vader coming into it, like, that's pretty much how it ends. You know, you get Kenobi and Leia managing to escape. You know, Haja kind of helps them. It seems it's kind of unclear if he actually does help them or not.
Well, yeah, he does help them because they get up to that pod.
But he says to that kid and him talk about how much they'd be worth and tricking them as they leave their little place. You know, the kid comes and goes, "Oh my god, look, we just missed them. They're worth loads of money. Oh yeah, let's go get them." And then he goes out. I guess. And it's like, is he getting them or is he actually doing the right thing? Like,
I don't know, but I think he might end up dead. Yeah. We didn't see him die, so
I think he's going to be alive again. He's probably going to be the one who has a redemption arc. Trying to, like, go from con man. That's quite a common thing in Star Wars, like a smuggler con man.
Yeah, there's the guy that stutters a lot. He does that.
Benicio del Toro.
The one with the flower, the lapels.
Well, yeah, he's not. That's who they're searching for, the guy with the lapel where they find
yeah, what's the name? Senior locksmith or something.
DJ.
No. What's the
the codebreaker.
Yeah,
something like that.
Master
codebreaker.
Anyway,
well, he goes bad. He goes good then bad. Benicio del Toro's character.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we think the con man sort of thing, that's quite a thing for Star Wars, where it's kind of that moral middle ground, looking out for themselves. And so Kenobi and Leia escape, but just after Kenobi finds out the bombshell that Anakin Skywalker's still alive as Vader.
Yeah.
Whoa, who saw that coming? I mean,
wait,
I don't realise.
Anakin Skywalker is Vader?
Yeah.
What? When did that happen? That didn't happen in Kenobi. I haven't seen any other Star Wars content, Mike. I've only seen Kenobi.
Could you imagine? I think it would...
I mean, I still would know that because they did it in the intro for the prequels, didn't they?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought Ewan McGregor did some absolutely fantastic facial acting when he found out that Anakin was Vader.
Yeah. Yeah, you really felt it. You're like, oh. And he was like, oh my god, he's still alive. And it's just... It
gives me vibes along with something else that I'm not going to say in case people haven't seen the thing that I'm referring to.
Okay.
Which is very, very cryptic, and I'm sorry, but...
You have to let me know afterwards. But yeah, so you get that, then Reva stabs the Grand Inquisitor, Obi-Wan and Leia escape, and then the final small scene that you get to see right at the end is... Vader in the Bacta tank.
Oh, yes.
With the mask on and...
all wrinkly, like a prune.
Yeah, his head and his sort of shoulders. You don't get to see the rest of him yet. That's going to be a big reveal. But I know John Williams scored a Kenobi theme, and I don't know if he did all of the music, but the music in this was amazing. Like, especially in the second episode, it was so intense, and it really made it feel very... You know, it was thrilling.
I'm not going to lie. I don't remember any of the music at all. I when I watch things for the first time, I have to we've had podcasts before where people were talking about the score and I'm like it's like I could have watched it on mute.
I think it impacts you more than you realise.
Yeah, but I'm so focused on trying to remember what actually happened in the episode. I have no recollection of any of the music that I heard.
Mine was mainly I was just feeling it a lot, and especially when Vader came in, it was really big, slow, it was quite horror-esque, the music.
Yeah. I remember hearing I thought that was quite good.
You did an alright inhale, but not a very good exhale.
I thought my exhale was good.
You couldn't hear it at all.
No, my inhale you couldn't hear.
You can hear that bit.
That's an exhale.
Oh.
Anyway, that was a fantastic Darth Vader impersonation.
Right, yes. A couple of other little cameo things to mention. I've checked online, and according to Wikipedia, and presumably the credits of the episode, Anthony Daniels was C-3PO in the first episode. When you saw the golden protocol droid.
Is that the OG guy?
Yeah. He's been 3PO in everything.
Ah, I thought I saw 3PO.
Yeah. He's with Leia, so...
Yeah, it was just weird, because I thought I saw 3PO, and then she got served by a different protocol droid, and I was like, that's not 3PO. That's a girl.
I'm fairly sure that protocol droid is also in the Leia comics as well. I think they both... But 3PO, at the end of Revenge of the Sith, is given to Bail, and I think he does some small stuff for the rebellion and whatever.
Yeah.
And then
why are you saying thank you to a droid?
Oh yeah,
they're beneath me.
Oh,
her cousin's a dickhead.
That was when Leia absolutely destroyed.
Oh yeah, that was actually fantastic. That was really good.
So good. It's like yes.
There's the spicy layer.
Yeah. Yeah, the kid actress who plays her, it did a really good job, and also, obviously, the writing and the direction. It really did feel, as you said earlier, like a young Leia. It really matched up to how we know she acts, both, I know, in the book, and also, as everyone else knows, in the original trilogy, which is the main part of it. The rebellious streak. And then you've also got a character called, I think, Vect Necro, or Not Crew, and he's a pirate played by Flea, who's the bassist of Red Hot Chili Peppers. He does do other acting, but, I thought I'd mention that. And then I've got a couple of other very minor things, which was there was a droid that looked a little bit like Forlorn. I think it's called 1JAC, so, don't know. And people also kept commenting how old he looks, which I quite liked because it's trying.
How old who looks?
Obi-Wan. Like Leia says it once
or twice, right,
so does someone else. Someone else says that he looks old and things and tired or whatever. And I think it works well because obviously 10 years of living in a cave like that with 2 sons is pretty intense.
It would be pretty intense.
Yes. And then I really like the moment in the second episode, where Obi-Wan doesn't say Padme's name, but says that... I
did like the nod to Padme.
And I like he didn't specifically mention her, because it's like, oh, you remind me of Padme. It's like, who's that? It's like, oh.
Does she know? She knows that she's adopted at this point.
Yeah, they mention it in this, and from what I read...
Yeah, because her cousin says that she's not a real Organa.
Yeah. I think from the very start, the entire public of Alderaan and also Leia knew.
Right,
It was just public knowledge that they adopted her, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's more or less all of the sort of notes and things, apart from asking, did you enjoy?
No.
Cool. Nice.
I hated it.
You hated
every
it.
single second.
Which episode do you prefer?
Also, just a joke and say that I didn't hate it, if that's not very much
I
obvious.
thought you were going to elaborate on what you liked about it to then round up.
I think I preferred the second episode because more stuff happened in it.
Yeah, I agree.
But it was exciting in the first episode when you hadn't seen Obi-Wan yet, and then you were like waiting for him to turn around so that you could just see his face. Yeah. I kept tapping Mike's leg and pointing at him. I was like, that's him. That's him.
I was like, I know.
Chopping up meat.
Yeah, it looked like a giant crate dragon or something like that, but don't know. Could have been a crate dragon.
Could quite possibly have been. No, yeah, I did really like it. I think it has started out strong.
Mm-hmm. And you prefer the second episode a bit more?
Yeah, I thought they were good. I thought both of them were good. I just think I preferred the second one, slightly more.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm not going to necessarily do ratings going forward on this, but I think if I was to rate them, episode 1 would be like an 8.2 and episode 2 would be an 8.5. So
I'm not going to rate them, but I'm going to rate them.
I'm going to rate them now, but I'm not going to ask all my guests going forward to rate all of them. So I'm used to rating them with
Here is your success criteria for rating everybody. There are rules in place.
Yes, you must focus on the cinematography and the... No, I'm not going to...
Please make sure you listen to the score.
Even though I didn't look up who did the score, but still. There was also one other little tidbit, which I haven't looked up the name of the species, because I'm bad, and Mega was mad at me for taking too long to start. But
correct information.
I was about to say, you were nodding then, and I was like, they can't hear the nod.
They can sense it with the Force.
They can sense the nod. But... the creature that Kenobi rode on in part 1
was a bantha.
I
know it wasn't a bantha.
You're a bantha fodder.
How very dare you? Carabast.
That's not an insult to me.
I know it's not an insult. It's a swear word.
Yeah.
I know Star Wars more than you. Anyway.
Correct. So
it was like a camel.
Well, it was like a camel thing. It's in The Phantom Menace. That's you see it in that really lame part I wish I'd cut out the film, which is when all the kids
when Jar Jar steps in poo.
Yeah, and there's that bit, and also I think it farts, and it turns around at him, and he's like, ooh, and then it like looks at him weirdly.
Yes. Good old Jar Jar.
Oh, just quick predictions before we wrap this up. So, we saw the one thing we forgot to mention. We saw the clone trooper, didn't we?
Yeah, we saw the clone trooper that was begging for money, and he had a long beard. So, is it Rex? But at the same time, again, I can't say certain things in case people haven't seen other stuff.
Well, I'd say, what were you going to say about?
But he's...
Oh, I see. So you're saying you don't want to say about a certain show he appears in because it spoils his fate in this.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to say anything else about a different show in case those other people haven't seen that show.
I see what you're saying.
Anyway, it could be Rex or it could just be another clone trooper. Because obviously at this point it might just be a nod to... Because obviously Obi-Wan has just been living in a cave for 10 years and he's left all of that behind him. The last thing that happened to him as a Jedi was Order 66.
Yeah.
And obviously the fight with Anakin.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether that is Rex or if it's just a random clone trooper or it's just a nod to here's your trauma.
Yeah.
Like, because obviously he's forced himself out of his hidey hole to go and save Leia. It might just be like, hey, PTSD, remember me? Like, this is the problem. This is why you've been in your cave for so long.
Yeah. That's a very good point. Yeah, I think that's solid. It works with the theme of the show, and it's very mirrored to him. It's kind of, as you say, looking at a reflection on himself in a lot of ways. And obviously they cause the trauma as well.
Yeah, and also at that point as well, he's trying to stay in cover, isn't he? He doesn't want to out himself. So obviously seeing a clone trooper...
Yeah, like, what if they recognise me?
What if they recognise him?
Yeah.
Because to him, surely at this point, he just looks like every other clone trooper.
Yeah, I would presume so.
Yeah.
And so... As well, obviously Qui-Gon Jinn has mentioned it's in the recap, and also Obi-Wan calls out to him in episode 1 after he has like a nightmare. I think it's just after or just before he has a nightmare. And so I think my prediction is that Obi-Wan's going to go off and do all these things. I think he's going to battle with Vader on the second to last episode, and I think the last episode he's going to get back to Tatooine, and then the last thing we see is him having a conversation with Qui-Gon.
Well, he definitely has to have a conversation with him. Like, the last thing that Yoda says to him is that he's got training for him in order to learn that, in order to speak to
And that was
Qui-Gon.
even in the recap. Like, why would they have included that in the recap?
Yeah, exactly.
If it wasn't relevant. And
So-
also it's in the Certain Point of View book that by the time of A New Hope, just before Luke shows up, he talks to Qui-Gon.
So, yeah, it definitely has to happen, even if it's just like a nod to it.
Yeah, even if you just see Liam Neeson as a Force Ghost. I like to hear from him because Liam Neeson
I think you mean a spirit guide.
I do not.
Well, that's what they're called.
So yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. This is, you know, I didn't necessarily know what I expected, but the fact that if there's like a good reason for him to leave Tatooine, he's got a goal. It's not just him. It doesn't feel like him kind of going up against Vader or coming out hiding for no real reason. It's like a really important thing. Like, it's the only other thing that's more important or as important as trying to protect Luke.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see where it is going to go, though, because I don't want it to just be with Leia.
I want Leia to be delivered home in the next episode, and him doing that, and then he's going to have to be like, I have to go, they're on my tail.
See, I don't think that's going to happen. I think someone's going to intercept them, and it's going to be just like an ongoing thing.
You think she's going to be in it?
I don't think she's going to be in it for the whole time, but I don't think she's going to get dropped off safely to Alderaan in the next episode. I think there's going to be something that's going to put a kink in the works.
I think Obi-Wan might save, like, almost a point where he like, pops her into a escape pod and shoots her down to Alderaan when they're nearby as the Inquisitors kind of capture him, and he has the choice, and he gets it so that Leia can go back to Alderaan and he just gets captured, and then he gets put in front of Darth Vader. And that's like how episode 3 or 4 maybe ends. And then you get the full confrontation, episode 5, and it doesn't cut away from that. It's just Obi-Wan and Vader talking.
Yeah.
Maybe with some flashbacks in there or something.
I do want to see some flashbacks. That would be cool.
Yeah, a flashback.
I don't necessarily
if
how
Ahsoka-
they're going to do them, though. Are they going to put that de-aging thing on Christian? What's his name?
Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen, because obviously
was 20
he
years later.
has aged. Like, Ewan McGregor hasn't aged as much because he was older.
Yeah, exactly.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, the first
Whereas
30 years of your
obviously
life, you age a lot more. Than
Hayden
the second.
Christensen was younger, so now that it's past time, there's a noticeable difference.
Yeah, he went from like his early to mid 20s to his early to mid 40s.
Yeah.
Whereas Ewan McGregor went from his like mid 30s to mid 50s.
Yeah,
So
he doesn't really look that much different, to be
Well, I
honest.
think the facial hair is a big part of it as well, because Hayden Christensen was clean shaven both times, and obviously he was meant to seem young as well in the prequels. So I think he also looks a bit younger than he actually is.
True.
So, but I'm intrigued to see. I want there to be flashbacks. I would like to see an Ahsoka, live action Ahsoka pop up, but I don't know if Rosario Dawson would work because she might be too.
I don't think Ahsoka's going to pop up in this. Is she?
Well, I just think that because Disney have got the capabilities to do all these things,
I
it
don't
would make
want
kind of
them
sense.
to just shove a load of characters in for the sake of it.
But she's very important to Anakin, and it'd be good to see a moment between Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka in live action. Because we're not going to get a live action Obi-Wan, Anakin, Ahsoka all talking and things. So if we get that, we've not had that before. So if we get that in a flashback, it would be really, really cool.
It would,
to
but
see.
again, I don't know how it would work because Ahsoka's going to have gotten older as well.
Yeah, the actress who plays Rosario Dawson in live action, obviously.
Like in the Clone Wars, she's like, what, a teenager?
Yeah.
Younger than that? Teenager?
Yeah, so they may recast her as a young Ahsoka.
Ah, right, yeah, okay.
potentially, or they might try with Rosario Dawson, but I don't think that would work because where we've seen Ahsoka previously, throughout Star Wars in more than one era, her appearance does change each time.
Yeah, and also because she's not human,
yes.
I think it would be harder to edit that. Like she's got the like tentacle things.
Yeah, the Montrals.
Yeah.
Or Leku. Because she's the species Togruta. And same with Shark Tea. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see, like, Ahsoka flashback, I'd be happy if they did it right, but I want at least one flashback of Anakin and Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars, wearing the Clone Wars armor with the things on their arms and the chest plate, and them talking. Just a little bit more Hayden Christensen as Anakin. That's what I'd like to see. Yeah,
I want to see that as well.
Yeah. Coolio. Well, we've been talking for a long time, and it's been really fun, Megan. I appreciate it. So, and I'm sure our audience loves it too, because we always get so many compliments when Megan is in the podcasting realm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe she'll come back for another chat on Kenobi. We'll see, won't we, Megan?
Yeah, we will see.
Do you want to tell people where they can find you?
I mean, you can find me on Instagram, but to be honest, I haven't posted in a while.
Yeah.
So
we've been very busy with house stuff.
I haven't posted in about a month.
Yeah.
Nearly a month. We got the keys to the house on the 6th of May. So today's the 27th of May. So yeah, 3.5 weeks ago is like the last time I posted on my Instagram page.
Pretty much, yeah.
So apologies, but if you want to go to that, it's Grits Gets Fit.
Yeah, there we go. Or you can listen to her on our Patreon, patreon.com/Genuine Chit-Chat, where every week we release at least one episode of Afterthoughts, where me and Megan do basically this. We talk about holidays, TV series, documentaries, live performances.
And sometimes I'm even sleepier than what I am now.
Sometimes she's very sleepy, very, very sleepy, and gets quite mad at me. But it's fun, because it's entertaining, isn't it?
Yeah. So much fun.
I mean, Harry Potter and Star Wars, all kinds of things on there.
Yeah,
so
but Mike, where can they find you?
At Genuine Chit-Chat on Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook. You can follow me, see snippets of Genuine Chit-Chat episodes. If you've not listened to my show, Genuine Chit-Chat, and you enjoyed this, please check out my conversation with Cavan Scott or Claudia Gray, who are both High Republic architects, or Dominic Pace, who is in The Mandalorian, or Paolo Villanelli, who draws the Bounty Hunters comics in Star Wars. So lots of people to do with Star Wars. You can check out my YouTube channel where everything's in playlists, so it's easy to find, or you can just type in Genuine Chit-Chat Star Wars. Obviously, on this feed of Comics in Motion, if you're listening on a podcast app, I do my episodes of Star Wars Comics in Canon more or less every single Saturday. It's just when there's special episodes like this, I may not necessarily do one, but there's always something released where I tackle every Star Wars comic, and you never have had to have read a Star Wars comic ever in your life, or any comic of any kind. I go through the plot details, talk about the many connections and planets and species and all kinds of things. It's a great way to get into the comic realm of Star Wars. But that is going to be enough from the two of us. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week with another one. I imagine it will be released slightly earlier because I think episodes of Kenobi are now going to be on Wednesdays, which will make life a lot easier. And I'm going to have more guests on, so it's going to be a barrel o' fun. So I should have started this by saying hello there. Oh well. But
oh, you messed up.
I did. I messed up right at the very end.
Goodbye there.
That doesn't really work.
Oh, I'm sorry that I was trying to make amends for your mistakes.
You should have said General Kenobi.
I say whatever I want, Michael. So, there.
Well, thank you so much, guys. Please let us know on various social media channels, also at Comics in Motion P, and check out all the other amazing shows on that network, anywhere that you listen to podcasts and things. And yeah, let us know. Either contact myself or Megan if you want, or Comics in Motion to tell us what you thought about Kenobi. In fact, people message Megan at Grits Gets Fit and just tell her what
you can message me, but you might not get a reply for a while. I'm not the greatest.
You didn't reply to people who are like your best friends who contact you. Who just...
Oh yeah, one of my closest friends. It took me like 4 months to reply to my message.
Yeah, so don't be offended. I will respond to things though. So that's your choice. It's a gamble. If you want a response, don't go for Megan.
Yeah, if you want a surefire response, go for Mike. But if you want a cheeky little risk, send me a message.
Back Kenobi. Oh man. But thank you so much, friends, for listening. We appreciate all of you, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Bye.
The intro for Star Wars Comics in Canon is arranged by myself, Mike Burton, and the backing music was made by Eric Matias of soundimage.org.
You have just experienced host, creator, everything elser of Genuine Chit-Chat, and also the host and creator of Star Wars Comics in Canon, found on the Comics in Motion podcast, Mike Burton.